today we're going to have a look at this new Slash solo. One of my students asked to do this recently, and I thought that's so good, I'm going to have to put this up on YouTube too. It's a cracking little solo, and it's quite easy considering some of Slash's stuff is really difficult. So it's a nice way into the style if you're perhaps not quite, advanced enough to keep up with his nasty stuff. So we're in E flat standard tuning for this. So you're going to need to tune your guitars down to play along with the tutorial. Though I am going to include some tracks at the end that I've recorded with a standard tune guitar, so that when you're practicing along with it slow, you don't have to tune your guitar down if you can't be bothered. So that'll all be available on my website. Right, let's get into it. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is to show you the tuning notes so you can tune your guitar down, check we're both in tune. So this is your low E flat. Here's an A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat, and then E flat again. Okay. Let's get into this solo. So we're going to start off with a really nice phrase on the low E string. You're going to pick the open note twice, and then you're going to go 2, 3, 4. I'm playing this one finger to a fret here. Then you're going to move up with your first finger to the 4th fret, pick that twice, and then I'm going to go 5, 6, 7, and then drop onto the A string, 5, 7. So next bit sounds like this. So I'm going 5, 5, 7, 5 on the D string, and then quick bend up and down on the 7, pull off to 5, and then repick 7, 5. So that is, it's quite fast, that bit. It sounds a little bit like the bend you hear at the start of the solo of Back in Black. And then we're going to drop down with a little finger now onto the G string, 7th fret, back onto the D string, big bend at 7, up to sound at 9, and back off to 5. So from the start of this bit. On we go. So I'm starting on the D string at fret 5, onto the A string at fret 7, my 3rd finger, then you're going to reach back to 4 on the D string. And what you do is you're going to pick it and bend it up to sound like 5, and then you're going to be going between the bent note and the normal note like this. This is my first finger, which makes it quite challenged, quite hard. So don't do it too much, otherwise you kill your finger. So it's 4 up, down, up, down, up, down. Back onto the A string, 7, 5, roll onto the D, and then you're going to play this 5 with a little bit of a bend, quarter tone bend, before going back onto that 7th fret on the A. And you're going to play that 7th fret twice. So that whole chunk. And to end this first half, we've got this really cool riff. So we're going to go 5 on the A, then you're going to pick 7 on the low E with your 3rd finger, but immediately slide it to the 5th fret. Off to 3 on the low E, and then, so that's your minor 3rd we talked about earlier, back up to the 5th fret, and then this time to the 4th fret, which is the major 3rd we talked about earlier, back up to the 5th fret, and then onto the 2nd fret on the A. So we've gone, and we're going to go 3rd fret now on the low E, and I'm doing a little bit of a bend before coming off to the open note, very bluesy. So we're going to end with this really cool Southern Rock style thing. We're going to go 2 on the D, roll onto the A at 2, back to our 3 with a bit of a bend, off to 0. And we end the phrase on that 2 on the D again. So that phrase was and from the start. next half is going to start off by basically repeating that first phrase, but this time we're doing an octave higher on the D string. So this time we're going to start with the open D, and then it's the 2nd fret picked twice, and then you're going to move up to the 4th fret, 4, 5, 6, move up to the 6th fret, 6, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, and we end on the G string, fret 7, then fret 9. I'm going to play that 9 with my 2nd finger. And then the next bit will sound like this. Okay, so that was a bend at the 10th fret on the B string, up to sound like 12. Then you go back to the 8th fret on the B with a slight quarter tone bend before going to 9 on the G. And then we're going to go back to the bend, but before we do, we're going to throw a cheeky 7 in on the G string. So we've gone. This time you bring the bend down and pull off to 8. And you're going to repick 10, 8. On we go to the high E string, 10th fret with a 4th finger, before immediately going back onto the B string with that bend again. So the whole phrase. Next bit. So a lot of this is centred around these 3 notes, 10 on the B, 8 on the B, and 9 on the G. So we're going to start with the bend, and we're going to go 8, 10, and then that 9 on the G. Then we immediately go back onto the B, 8, 10, and then immediately back onto the G for the 9. So let's hear that. Okay, so it can get a bit confusing going around these notes. Take your time with it, try and get it in your ear. Then we're going to do the bend again, and then 8, 10, 9. This time we're going to go back to the 7th fret on the B, bend it up and down to sound like 8, and then I'm going to go to the G string fret 9 with my 3rd finger, and then I'm going to kind of fold my hand up like this, and then play 9 on the D string with my 2nd finger. So that whole phrase has gone. Nearly there now. This is our first little bit to go through. So this is 8th fret, quarter tone bend on the B, and then 9 on the G, 9 on the D, 7 on the G, and then we're going to go back to 9 on the G. So then we're going to go back onto the D string and fret 9 before, and that's with my 2nd finger, before going back to the 1st finger, fret 7 on the G, and then we're going to roll that onto the D string. So I've gone. Basically what we've got here is a series of notes, quite straightforward notes, but you're getting a lot more material out of them by sequencing between them and kind of jumping back and forth, which does make it a bit confusing to learn if you're not used to this kind of thing, but take your time. Okay, let's put these 2 bits together. Then we're going to go to this part. And this is the end. So that is 9 on the D, 10 on the A, 7 on the D, roll on to 7 on the E, on the A, sorry. So that same kind of pattern. And then I'm going to move up to the 10th fret on the A string. I'm going to go 10, 11, 12, and drop your 2nd finger down to 11 on the D string. And that's it. Okay, so use the tracks I've put on my website. Play along with it nice and slow, bring it together, can't go wrong.